Hey, my name is Matt and I run a college admissions firm. I'm about to tell you when hiring someone like me is a waste of your money. Most counselors won't say this out loud because it's bad for business, but there are three specific situations when hiring a private consultant will be the best investment you'll ever make, and three where you'll be better off saving that money. So no one in this gray area of an industry of college consultants is going to talk about it because it's bad for business, and it's bad for business because a lot of firms are, especially the large ones, are volume based. CollegeBound, on the other hand, is small batch, so the math works out really differently from a business perspective. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to cover three reasons why you don't need something like this, three reasons why you do, and a third option. The first situation where you don't need a consultant is when your school counselor has a small caseload, I'd say about 75 students or less, and your student is genuinely a self-starter. The average school counselor has a caseload of about 400 students. If your counselor has less than that, less than 100, and that's why I say 75, then they have more time and bandwidth to offer you and give you more sessions where they can guide you and direct you accordingly. But there is a difference in the roles that counselors play and private consultants play. There are things that one person can do that the other cannot. The school counselor, they are in charge of the school profile, your transcript, letters of recommendation. Those are things that your private consultant cannot do for you. But on the other hand, a private consultant can really get to know you, know your family, know your student, help you build that college list, do a lot of personalization, and then take you through the whole strategic process and writing process of crafting your application. That time and attention is something that the school counselor cannot do because of just purely resourcing and time. But that's where the second part comes in, and it's really important. Your student genuinely needs to be a self-starter. They need to be someone who is able to figure things out on their own, take advantage of free resources, take advantage of their counselor, and do with what they have to go through this process while staying organized. Every year, students who figure out this process independently get into great schools, so it can be done. And as a personal story, that's what I did. I didn't have a consultant growing up. I had to figure out this stuff on my own. The analogy I like to give for this, though, for the educational consultant college coach industry is personal fitness. Like, everyone can get fit. The information is out there. You can work out yourself, eat healthier, but who actually does, right? You don't need a personal trainer to get fit, but a personal trainer will figure out a plan with you, customize it for you, and keep you accountable. Those are kind of the similar things that a private educational consultant or college coach will do as well. The second situation when you don't need a consultant is if you're applying to schools that are non-selective, where the math really is GPA, maybe test scores. As of 2026, still not really, and just filling out an application. In that case, everything is really dependent on your grades and how you've done in school for the last 4 years. So you don't really need a private consultant to help you out here because there aren't that many things to actually get done. It's pretty straightforward. To give you an example, in California, if you're applying to the UCs, you have essays that you need to write. But if you're applying to the Cal States, there are no essays. They base admission basically off of your grades and how you do. In those cases, you don't really need someone like me to go through the college process with. The third situation where you don't need a counselor is if you as a parent have the time and the willingness to be your student's strategic project manager. In that situation where you can help keep track of applications, deadlines, and remind your students of when, what, where things need to get done, then you have more control over the process and you don't need someone like me. But realistically, what I've seen in practice is that most parents think that they can do this, but they actually don't have the time. Or they find out that working with their student in that kind of capacity, it kind of feels like nagging to the student. And so that's something you would want to evaluate for yourself. Now let's go over the three situations when you need a counselor. The first situation is when your school counselor manages a huge caseload. Most public school counselors help their students with managing their mental health. They deal with scheduling and academic course load planning for students. They just don't have the hours to architect a personalized strategy and profile over the course of 4 years for your student. In this case, I would recommend getting someone to help guide you through the process end to end. With a small caseload, they have the time to help you plan out your strategy and really be there for you like a personal trainer, back to that analogy, whenever you need it. The second situation when you need a counselor is if your target schools are selective at all. They're selective enough that positioning, not just grades, not just filling out an application, really matters, depending on your profile and depending on your grades. But any school that is generally 25 to 30% acceptance rate or below, I consider selective. If you're applying to schools like this, then positioning is a really important lever that you have to pull and have to be aware of. Schools like this would be the Ivy League schools, the UCs, any top 30, 40, 50, whatever schools on rankings, BSMD programs, honors colleges, anything like that. Crafting your application, your positioning is going to be really important. The other thing is scale. If you're applying to schools like these, chances are you're applying to more than just one. Your whole college list might actually be made up of these schools. And so in this case, a personal consultant can help you strategically position yourself for every school on your list. The third situation is when you can kind of feel that something is off about your student's profile, but you can't really articulate what that is. It might be GPA, it might be the academic choices that they're making for their course schedule, it could be extracurriculars, it could be combining all this stuff into a clear narrative, a clear story, a clear position. Being able to sense those gaps, find them, identify them, name them, communicate those back to you, and work with your student to problem solve for them is exactly what a good strategist does. And that's why you need a college coach in this situation. Now, here's the third option that no one talks about. There are a lot of great free resources. College Essay Guy is genuinely free and genuinely good. They have an abundance of resources, so start there. Now, outside of one-on-one consultants, there are group programs and hourly consultants. So in my case, I work with students end to end. I don't charge by an hourly session. I charge by we get the job done and I will be there every step of the way for you. But that is just one way that people work. There are group sessions, group workshops where you are a student of many and you're getting some of this information in a group format. The good thing about this is that it's often cheaper. And again, if you are more on the self-starter side and you just need some directional help, this could be a great way to learn about what you need to do, get some feedback, and then run with that. The downside to this is that you don't get that personalized attention consistently because it is a group format. So the other thing you can do is hire someone who works hourly. And you might want to do this if you have a specific need, really. Let's say, for example, that you really just need essay help and you have taken care of everything else. And maybe you need specifically essay help on the personal statement. That might be a reason to hire someone who works on an hourly basis. In some cases, too, you can hire people who work hourly who will do a holistic and overall application review once you've finished everything. Then you can get their feedback and then incorporate that into your application. So there are really a bunch of different ways that you can kind of piece together support for yourself. So here's the honest middle. Most families don't need one-on-one premium consulting, especially if they fall in one or multiple situations that I mentioned earlier. But at the same time, some genuinely do if they fall into the other situations. And so the point of this video is to help you recognize which group you fall into and understand what options you have at your disposal. So now I want to give you 5 quick filters that you can use to assess any consultant that you're talking to. The first is a small caseload. Ask for the actual number of seniors they work with per year. The second thing is transparent pricing. There are no rules or regulations in this industry. I've noticed that a lot of firms will have a start on price, and then if you need more things, need more help, they will add on to that price. So what you get quoted first is not what you get quoted at the end. The third is a clear methodology. They should be able to tell you what their system and their game plan is. The fourth is process-based guarantees or outcome-based guarantees. Anyone guaranteeing that they can get your student into an Ivy League school is either lying or operating unethically. The fifth is a willingness to say no. A consultant that takes on every family that calls is just selling their time, not strategy. If you want to know whether your specific situation falls under one of those 3, the ones where this kind of help actually moves the needle, I do free 45-minute sessions with a small number of families each month. No commitment, no pitch. The link is in the description.